This item originally belonged to the guest's great-great-uncle. It's a silver plate called Martel, made by the Gorham Manufacturing Company, a renowned American maker known for their silverware. This item would have been a service plate or a part of a set of 12. It also bears the mark of the Gorham Company. At auction, this silver piece from a famous company known for their expertise will sell for
Auction estimate $2,000 to $3,000.
Great, well that's very nice.
If you've ever wondered where the words portable and classy could be used, you need to look no further, as those are words that can best qualify the pocket watch presented today on the show. This watch was made by the Waltham Watch Company of Massachusetts, and
we open up the main cover and then we open up the dust cover.
Its date of creation can be set to circa 1887. In its front, it features a classic porcelain dial with Roman numerals. A nice discovery about this watch is that it's a repeater watch.
New condition in a case that's absolutely perfect. Let's just show everybody how you activate the repeater.
And the repeater can be activated by pulling the slide by the side of the watch. A classy and portable watch of this make is really appreciated by collectors and would be auctioned for
$6,000 to $8,000.
Holy smokes! I'm gonna have to give that watch back.
The guest inherited a cabinet from his aunt, who purchased it from Mrs. Rosenbaum in Fort Worth. The aunt had owned the cabinet for about 15 years before passing it down. It was a cross-branded burl walnut cabinet in the Queen Anne style, typical of English furniture from the early 20th century.
1740. The style, it would be known as Queen Anne, and this is a cross-banded burl walnut cabinet.
This cabinet was actually made in the early 20th century, intended to deceive and appear older than it was. There was a lack of distress, age cracks, and repairs typically seen in furniture from the 18th century. Additionally, there were inconsistencies in the materials and construction, such as varying thicknesses and colors.
Looking at the physical evidence of this piece of furniture, if it were 300 years old, you would have much more distress and age, cracks, and replaced veneers than this has.
The batwing brasses on the cabinet were also not original. This cabinet's replica status would humble its auction price, making it value at.
If this were to come to an auction, it would be estimated at maybe $4,000 to $6,000. Retail would be higher.
Well,
The USS Trevor deck logs offer a unique glimpse into the ship's activities and adventures. They were found among a trainload of scrap paper which the guest's father was supposed to destroy. The Trevor was a destroyer minesweeper, and it was nestled among destroyers during the air raid. There couldn't be a more real-time description of what happened.
Went to battle stations, Japanese conducting air raid on Pearl Harbor.
Than what these logs contain, with someone documenting everything. These items, featuring detailed information on what happens on all warships, will sell for.
Conservatively at auction, I would think $2,000 or $3,000 for the set.
The guest brought in a painting called The Eggheads.
purchased it in Mexico for about $4,000, and we call it the Eggheads just because of, obviously,
which originally belonged to her mother-in-law, who purchased it for 4,000 pesos. This painting is by an artist named Bridget Tichenor, a British surrealist painter known for her fantastic art. This is an oil-on-panel painting featuring a very smooth and well-layered work of art. It has a jewel-like surface and was painted between 1964 and 1965. Interestingly, this painting is titled on the reverse, Sierra Certo.
The war is coming. She's also bouncing back and forth to England. And even though it's the 1930s, her mother arranges a marriage.
This beautiful painting, with thin glazes and layers, would be worth at auction.
At auction right now, I think conservatively we'd be looking at an estimate of $25,000 to $35,000.
is that right? Oh my gosh, I cannot believe that.
The guest purchased this lovely item at an antique store because they looked weird. These are a bowl and candlesticks made by Tain, a large manufacturer of silver popular in Mexico City. Wonderfully designed, they are made out of obsidian.
These were made out of?
Onyx?
Onyx
Yes.
or not?
What are they?
They're made out of obsidian,
Which is?
which is a good question.
Although made by Tain, these items were retailed by Lunt in the United States. Still in great condition and featuring an interesting design, these 19th century items are referred to as looking bizarre. This bowl and candlesticks, made out of volcanic glass with their weird shape, would sell for
Hold, you're looking at an auction estimate of between $8,000 and $12,000 for the suite.
You're kidding.
On today's show, we go down the memory lane of one of the world's largest companies. Presented by the guest is a family photograph of the founder of the Coca-Cola Company. The Coca-Cola Company is an American multinational corporation founded in 1892. This photograph captures the image of the founder of the company, Asa Griggs Candler. Candler was an American business tycoon and politician who, in 1888, purchased the Coca-Cola recipe.
Candler, and this is all of his brothers. And one was a bishop, one was a judge.
And then went ahead to found the Coca-Cola Company in 1892. Alongside Candler in the photograph are his brothers. A picture of the founder of one of the largest organizations in the world from his early days would be valued at
Value-wise, $500, $700.
Owning a Rolex watch is always considered an investment, and we can only imagine how this guest feels after inheriting one from his late father. The watch is a Rolex Daytona with reference 6263.
Worth investing that much money into the watch.
What you have here is a Rolex Daytona. The reference is 6263.
This Rolex Daytona was created in Switzerland, and the serial number puts the year of creation at 1980. It's a chronograph watch, as can be seen from its pushers. And on the bezel, there are rings that helps to calculate the speed of an object.
On the side of the watch, on the bezel, you have a ring that you could calculate the speed of an object.
Okay.
So that helps with racing.
Although this is not the very first Rolex Daytona, it's still pretty vintage and is commonly called Big Red. Sadly, the watch requires some minor repairs to get it running again. A piece like this, fully repaired with the name and allure it carries with owning one of it, in today's market, would fetch.
Okay. Something cosmetic, you could lose as much as 10 to 20,000.
Wow. Wow.
The guest has been collecting antique mousetraps for 48 years, and the crafty mousetrap collection exhibited contains few of them. We have a wooden trap called the Delusional Mousetrap, which was patented in 1881. Another featured trap is equipped with an interesting treadmill mechanism.
Trying to perfect the perfect mousetrap. And so the very first one patented in America was patented in 1879 in New York.
The third mousetrap on display originates from Germany and was patented in the 1960s. We are also presented with a mousetrap made out of a glass jar, designed to allow a mouse to enter but not exit. Lastly, this mousetrap, the largest presented, is made from maple wood and weighs about a pound.
It's kind of the ultimate live trap. It's the most compassionate in that he's got a little exercise workout room there while he's in jail.
This entire collection is exceptionally well crafted and in very good condition. At auction, they would accrue a value of
are valued at auction at $1,500.
Endowed with the finest handmade minerals, this Cartier wristwatch is a stunning timepiece.
This watch was inherited by my mother, and my grandmother
features classic Art Deco elements, which includes geometric patterns, clean lines, and is adorned with intricate details.
They sent it to New York. It came back and they said that, they were 99% sure that it was a Cartier watch.
This piece is a prime example of Cartier's exquisite craftsmanship that embodies the elegance and sophistication of the 1920s. Because this watch is rare and also from one of the most prestigious watchmakers, at auction would sell for.
Today, if this came up to auction, it would be $50,000 to $70,000.
Would it really?
It really would.
I can't believe it. My mom's going to be thrilled. That's unbelievable.
What we have here is a tea table that reflects Bermuda's colonial heritage. This tea table was made from fine mahogany and is known for its durability.
England English. It's Bermuda made because this top is actually cedar.
The design features a round tabletop which provides ample space for serving tea or displaying decorative items. This Bermuda tea table's fine finish highlights the artisan's skill and his worth.
With the cedar top makes me believe that it's Bermuda, and it's probably $17.80. Your $75 was a good investment.
Designed as a dowry chest, this Persian Shiraz chest was used for the export of foodstuffs, carpets, or silks.
She called me on the phone and said that because I admired the trunk so much, she wanted me to have it, so she gave it to me.
It was made of hardwood and lined on 3 sides with open-work copper alloy plates and nails with geometric motifs. In the center of the front, a lock with a palmette cutout, which opens a large hinged lid, and also the base are 3 drawers, each with a pair of handles. Clearly, this chest is a testament to the artistic tradition of the Shiraz region and is worth
piece in a good gallery or in a decorative showroom, maybe even more, $2,500 to $3,500.
Wow.
There is a certain magic about old books. The displayed book possesses that magic. It was purchased by the guest back when he was in college at a book sale. The author of this book is Harry Houdini, a Hungarian-American escape artist, illusionist, and stunt performer noted for his escape acts. Titled Miracle Mongers and Their Methods, this book does look captivating.
Published to start exposing them and going to seances and would debunk them. He put out this book, which was debunking a lot of the methods that were used.
The book was published in the year 1920, and on one page we can see a portrait of Houdini, while on the first page is a note from Houdini to the person the book was initially presented to.
Human ostriches, strongmen, and the like. So it was a real expose on what he knew.
A book like this, bearing a personal inscription from Houdini himself, would fetch a significant value at auction.
Copies have come up at auction, and we would estimate this at $2,000 to $3,000.
Really?
Yeah.
The stock exchange has gone through notable enhancement, but there was a time when the stock exchange depended on this stock ticker presented on the show today.
$1 a week to have a stock quotation sent to your office on the
This piece was made by the Star Electric Company circa 1885.
Sent to your office. On the transmitter end, there was a man or woman.
And at the time was a magical device from a technological standpoint. The stock ticker at the time was primarily used by financial institutions, brokers, and wealthy investors to track stock prices and market movements. This was often done via an end-to-end manner where the output would be numbers or alphabets. A classy item like this, that has history in the finance sector, is surely to be looked upon well by finance and antique enthusiasts, and as such, would sell for
would be $8,000 to $10,000. Wow.
Music has most times been said to be therapeutic, and the same can be said of this ukulele presented by this guest on the show. The ukulele previously belonged to the guest's father when he was part of a Hawaiian band in the 1920s and 30s. The Martin Company, a well-known maker of violins, decided to make Hawaiian ukuleles due to the popularity of Hawaiian music at that time period.
In string instruments in America, and it's only natural that the Martin Company, which was already established as a very fine maker of flat-top guitars.
And that's how this brand of ukuleles came about to be produced. A type of wood native to Hawaii was used in producing this ukulele.
The model number for this ukulele was 5K, the K designating koa wood.
Around the edges and sound hole of the ukulele are pearls adorned to add to its beauty. A piece of this quality, with the level of craftsmanship gone into it, as well as the history it has, is surely to be valued at
probably in the neighborhood of $10,000 to $12,000.
Today's episode centers around 2 very famous individuals. The first individual, whose image is embedded on the medallion presented today on the show, is George Washington. Washington was an American founding father and politician who served as the first president of the United States. while the second famous individual is the person who crafted this magnificent medallion, Samuel McIntyre. McIntyre was an American architect and craftsman, best known for his work in the Chestnut Street District, a classic example of Federal-style architecture.
By the cleanup crew.
This carving of George Washington was probably made by Samuel McIntyre of Salem, Massachusetts.
This medallion was crafted to be placed outside, and only 8 of them were made as listed in McIntyre's inventory after his death. The carvings on this medallion have characteristics often typical of McIntyre's work.
And this possibly may be one of those 8 medallions of George Washington that are listed.
A rare medallion of an American hero and president done by one of the most famous craftsmen of that federal period is sure to be worth.
This is probably worth somewhere in the range of between $70,000 and probably about $90,000.
Well, that's very interesting.
She acquired the piece for free from an online marketplace. The painting is a thick watercolor on silk. The inscription names Tang Yin, aka Tang Boho, a celebrated Ming Dynasty artist known for landscapes and poetry. Tang Yin's paintings feature delicate brushwork and themes from Chinese literature, history, and folklore. The inscription also mentions something related to summer. The painting may date back to the 1930s, a period of significant cultural and political change in China. This upheaval sparked interest in traditional Chinese art, including Tang Ying's work. A Tang Ying painting likely used traditional Chinese painting techniques. In awe of its beauty and historical significance, the appraiser valued the item.
Value for this would be, reasonably in the $6,000 range.
Really?
Her mother bought it for her new when they were 16. This 1954 Gibson ES-175 is a classic guitar known for its warm tone and versatile playability. It's highly regarded by jazz, blues, and rock guitarists alike. They added a cutaway for extended neck access and an electric pickup, mirroring Gibson's classic archtop jazz guitars. The P90 pickup, favored by many despite later shifts to humbucker pickups. This ES-175 is cherished for its comfort, durability, and iconic sound over the years. The guitar is crafted from maple for the top, back, and sides, while the neck is made of mahogany. All of the finish is immaculate, as are the pick guards and the knobs. With its vintage charm and pristine condition, the appraiser valued the item.
It would sell for about $5,500.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
His extended family gave him this watch almost a decade ago. The Patek Philippe Silver Deck Chronometer is famed for its precision and craftsmanship. The coined silver case showcases a top-mounted power reserve indicator, signaling 36 hours of running time.
Model is referred to as a deck watch. They typically had 3 of them, all set at the same time, so you had redundancy in case one didn't work, 2 didn't work, stop working, you still had a...
Its silver deck design embodies the elegant style of the early 20th century. The inner dust cover marked with the movement number and Patek Philippe's signature. The watch boasts a special Guillaume balance wheel, enhancing its performance.
Prize for physics. These watches were the most accurate watches of the era.
Inside, the movement, often the watch's heart, is crafted from high-grade materials like brass, steel, and rubies. These watches underwent timing trials in Geneva, Switzerland, testing their endurance in both heat and cold. Patek Philippe crafts each timepiece meticulously, ensuring quality and artistry. With its coveted relic of horological mastery, the appraiser valued the item.
I think an auction today, this watch would sell probably at the least amount, $50,000.
Really?
But I think you have the potential of a $100,000 timepiece here.
It's very impressive.
These 3 pieces of furniture, 2 chairs and a table, were presented by this guest who inherited them from her parents. The chairs were made by George Nakashima, an American woodworker, architect, and furniture maker. The chairs, featuring hickory style and walnut crest rails, are signed underneath by the maker. At auction, these delicately crafted pieces of furniture would fetch a value of
Now these side chairs will be bringing around $2,000 a piece.
The table, adorned with 6 dovetail butterfly inlays, is dated and signed by the maker, Mirai Nakashima, who was also an architect and furniture maker. Crafted from American black walnut wood, this very well-preserved table is estimated to be worth
Where the armchairs are probably in the $3,000 a piece range.
Displayed is a captivating antique doll that belonged to the guest's husband's grandmother, who used to collect dolls, and this doll was one of her cherished acquisitions.
Husband and his brother and his sister divided the dolls.
It's very unusual.
It is a French doll made by Brujon Company, characterized by its wonderful coloring, closed mouth, and swiveling head. Additionally, it features blue eyes, which are more sought after than brown ones. However, the doll's dress is not original. Upon examining the back of the doll, we can see the maker's mark clearly visible. The doll stands approximately 24 inches tall. Unfortunately, some parts of its body have been replaced.
The bottom part of the arm would be bisque. The bottom part is correct, but it's all been put back together.
At auction, this beautiful doll, regardless of the replacements, would be valued at
Even in this condition, probably at auction, it could go anywhere between $12,000 and $16,000.
Wow.
The guest shared a quilt crafted by her father's grandmother in 1936. Adorned with Boy Scout patches earned by the guest's father between the ages of 12 and 17, it stood as a remarkable piece. The appraiser acknowledged the father's extensive scouting involvement, noting the multitude of patches earned over the 5 years. Further elaborating, the guest described her father's extensive commitment, serving over 20 years as a scout executive and camp leader. The appraiser admired the quilt's sentimental significance and recognized its value as a valuable item. The guest, taken aback, expressed surprise and gratitude at the appraisal.
I would say the quilt itself is worth about $3,000.
Really?
On the retail market.
Oh, wow.
The guest showcased a rescue archive dating back to 1913. The guest's grandfather and brother rescued 11 people from a Welsh freighter explosion in Baltimore Harbor. Their bravery earned them a medal, a watch, and a gold cigarette case from the ship's owners. The appraiser examined the collection, noting the watch made by the notable English maker J.W. Benson. It was a demi-hunter watch, designed to allow the time to be read without opening the case. The watch was made of sterling silver and featured an engraving from the British government.
The British government to James Patrick Goodhue, Master of the Launch, Jerome of Baltimore.
Another item was a George V medal, recognizing Hughes's valor and life-saving actions. Additionally, there was a cigarette case made of 9-karat gold, which was a gift from the ship's owners. The appraiser further highlighted a striking photograph captured by a Baltimore photographer. Emphasizing the historical and sentimental value of the memorabilia, the suggested value was
Its retail value to someone that's interested in any or all of the above could probably bring a group like this more into the $8,000 or $9,000 value.
I'm surprised.
The guest had brought a table acquired from a roommate during her school years. The table proved practical and versatile, serving various purposes due to its small and compact size. The item was crafted by a renowned American designer named Jan Rhizome. He was known for his clean lines and minimalist aesthetic, remaining influential among furniture designers. Many of Rhizome's furniture designs were considered modern classics, with pieces showcased at prestigious museums. The appraiser praised the particular table's excellent condition and size. What would have been the worth of this piece in the current market?
And I think it would surprise me if this piece sold for less than $1,500.
Oh my God. Thank you.
For a piece designed specifically to hang clothes, this valet chair is top-notch. It's a prime example of mid-century modern Danish design that was crafted by the renowned designer Hans Wegner, who contributed to the international popularity of mid-century Danish design. Made of teak, this chair elegantly blends functionality with sculpture-like aesthetics.
Them out. He's an architect.
Okay.
And so architects got about a 50% discount on the furniture that they bought.
In today's market, this piece is highly sought after by collectors for its innovative design and is worth
these days. And in an auction situation, we would put an estimate of $6,000 to $8,000 on it.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding.
This ribbon work outfit is a fascinating piece of American Indian clothing that's attributed to the Miami Indians of northern Indiana.
Who was one of the last Indian princesses. She died in the year of 1899. The outfit was handed down supposedly by Chief Little Turtle.
This collection includes front seam moccasins and matching leggings, both decorated with intricate ribbon work. The moccasins are notable for their single seam down the front, a characteristic of the Eastern tribe styles.
These leggings match the moccasins. It's very, very unusual to find a pair of leggings that match moccasins.
While the cloth of the leggings dates to the early 20th century, the ribbon strips along the moccasins are much older, predating the Civil War. Graphically stunning and culturally rich, this set of Miami Indian ribbon work would fetch.
I'm going to be pretty conservative, but this is a quick $8,000 for the leggings and the moccasins.
Great.
In the right place, they might bring a reasonable amount more than that.
Thank you.
In its ability to conceal as well as reveal, this Irish lace coat possesses seductive and fashionable qualities.
Wow. And I've had it since 1972, about. This is an Irish lace coat.
It is made of cotton and dates from around 1908 to 1910. This coat showcases the intricate work typical of Irish crochet, featuring a variety of motifs and fine details.
Always have that, and then the finer work through the body, but the very glamorous.
The edges and sleeves are adorned with desirable baubles, and the scalloped hem adds to its visual appeal. Notably, it also includes 2 unique Irish crochet pins designed to fasten the coat securely. Given its beauty, craftsmanship, and excellent preservation, this Irish lace coat would sell for
Retail value on this of $2,500 to $3,000. Wow. Yeah.
We are presented with a weird-looking face jug, which the guest purchased because her husband thinks it looks fabulous. Lanier Meters, an American potter known for his face jugs, crafted this item in the 80s. This jug features an altered vernacular 1-gallon jug, with applied clay additions forming the features of a characterized face. Interestingly, it also has contrasting white teeth and eyes made of unglazed kaolin. This unique piece, with its caricaturized face, formed by clay additions, would sell for
today's market, the value at auction would be $1,200. So it's only gone up 10 times.
Okay.
The guest presented Imperial Russian court jewelry with a fascinating family history. The item had belonged to her grandfather, a U.S. Army colonel during the Bolshevik Revolution. The ancestor helped Russian court members escape by buying their jewels. The appraiser provided insight into the significance of the jewels, likely gifts from the Empress to her confidants. The jewelry, along with a receipt, was dated between 1860 and 1880.
From my grandfather, and the date is October 8th, 1920.
The pieces were presented in 2 fitted boxes from a retailer in Moscow. The jewelry was silver-topped and adorned with mine-cut and cushion-cut diamonds, as well as dark carbuncle garnets. The appraiser estimated the total diamond weight to be between 12 and 14 carats. Given the item's luxurious and extravagant nature, its value was suggested to be
jewelry, and in a retail setting, I would see a price of $12,000 to $15,000 on this collection.
Nice.
An exquisite craftsmanship adorned with a striking light fixture reveals its origins. This fixture, dating back to the early 20th century, was created by Tiffany Studios, renowned for its stunning glasswork. Comprising numerous pieces of Tiffany glass set in sturdy metal frames, the fixture is meticulously linked. Remarkably, every element from the original cap to the robust chain and the ceiling canopy is intact, a testament to its pristine condition. 10 years ago, when the current owner purchased the house, this light fixture was already part of its charm. The fixture's design showcases a chainmail pattern, reflecting Tiffany's fascination with Moorish designs. Collectors highly seek after this rare, original condition fixture, and its value in a retail gallery today would range.
If this were in a retail gallery today, it would sell probably for between $20,000 and $25,000.
An exquisite painting by Francis A. Silva, known for his tranquil marine scenes, features a sailboat approaching the shore with the Eastern Point Lighthouse marking the entrance to Gloucester Harbor.
Marine scenes, and he painted from Narragansett to Gloucester and the New York Harbor area.
Silva, a largely self-taught artist from New York, began his painting career after serving in the Civil War, becoming celebrated for his use of light and shadow to create a luminous effect.
Area. One of the best things about Silva is his use of contrast of shadow and light.
This particular painting, dated 1874, was inherited by the current owner from their father.
He was from New York, and he basically was self-trained. He started out as a sign painter, and he did that for a number of years until he joined the New York Infantry during the Civil War.
Who had selected it from a gallery swap arranged to distribute art among his siblings.
Color that you often see, but it certainly has really wonderful striations of light.
The discovery of documentation revealed its significant value compared to the other items in the collection. Despite some wax bleeding due to the lining, the painting remains in good condition. Initially appraised at $21,000 in 1981, its value was substantially increased in a gallery setting up to.
A gallery would probably sell it for around $250,000.
Holy smoke!
Yeah.
An extraordinary book from the late 19th century, the Kelmscott Chaucer of 1896, stands as a testament to the rich literary and artistic heritage of its time. This masterpiece, created by William Morris's Kelmscott Press, is renowned as one of the greatest illustrated books ever made. Bound in its original cover, it reflects the meticulous craftsmanship and aesthetic ideals of the pre-Raphaelite movement, with Morris collaborating with the famous artist Edward Burne-Jones. This particular copy was part of a collection amassed by the guest's great-great-grandfather. The book includes all of Chaucer's work, making it a substantial volume. Despite some wear, its rarity and historical significance remain intact. Appearing in the trade only a few times each year, at auction, this copy is estimated to fetch around.
My auction estimate on this copy would be in the neighborhood of $30,000.
Wow.
A charming collection of antique dolls, crafted by the American designer Grace Putnam, capturing the great essence of early 20th century toy design. These bisque dolls, known as Bilos, were modeled after newborn babies and produced in Germany by several firms, including Kessner.
She actually went to a hospital, modeled after a newborn baby, made her artistic mold. Then she sent the molds to Germany to several firms, with Kessner being one of the major firms.
Ranging in size from 5 to 6.5 inches, these dolls feature intricate details like sleep eyes that open and close, and 2 are dressed as twins, possibly in their original costumes. Gifted to the current owner's mother around 1927, these dolls were preserved in pristine condition. The collection, with its rare all-bisque dolls, holds significant value, estimated around.
So you're talking all together in the $2,200 to $2,500 range.
My gosh, that's amazing.
A cherished collection of snow babies and delicate Christmas ornaments made in Germany has a fascinating history, rooted in early 20th century traditions. These whimsical figures, inspired by Victorian candy containers or possibly by the attire of Admiral Peary's daughter during his North Pole expedition, were used by the current owner's grandmother to decorate the Christmas tree in the 1930s.
That these were used at Christmas time. She'd bring them out and decorate around the tree when they were little girls.
Carefully wrapped and stored since the 1960s, they have been lovingly preserved over the decades by the guest's mother. The collection includes various sizes, particularly a tiny and rare figure is so captivating. They are a coveted treasure for any enthusiast, and they would give any price for them. Collectors highly prize these special ornaments, and the entire collection holds an estimated value of.
And for the collectors of snow babies, we're talking about $1,200 to $1,500 a piece.
Oh my God.
So altogether, we're talking somewhere around the $4,000.
A type of lounge chair, called a lar chair, is what is presented on the show today. This chair was made by an American designer, architect, and filmmaker, Charles Eames. Charles wasn't the sole maker of this chair, but was assisted by his wife, Ray Eames. The Eames worked together in a professional partnership and made groundbreaking contributions in furniture design. This chair was designed by the Eames to be part of a system where the top and the bottom part are two separate pieces and can accept other different parts to be the top or the base. The top part of the chair is made with fiberglass, impregnated with plastic, and the base is made with zinc-plated wire. These chairs were manufactured by the Zenith Plastic Company in California, circa 1953.
Not only were they designing a chair for comfort, but they were designing the chair for production.
This chair, with its modern aesthetic and ergonomic design, made by one of America's most fond furniture-making couples, at auction, would be worth.
In today's market, I think this would be worth $800 at auction.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
We are taken down to South American craftsmanship with this piece, a traveling desk made in Peru presented by the guest. The desk is called a varagueno and was crafted circa 1850.
Plus or minus 50 years. And what's interesting about this piece in particular is that we still have.
All of the original pieces of this desk are still in good condition, and it has a drawer compartment where travelers would have kept their papers at the time. Depictions of a Peruvian village are etched as designs on the front of the drawers. Along with this varagueno desk is a miniature pataca, which is a leather trunk.
Belongings inside this box. Papers would probably be kept in this drawer here. And what's interesting is that the dovetailing for this piece.
These pieces are evidence of fine Peruvian craftsmanship, each with its own delicate and detailed make, and as such would be worth.
Condition that it's in, I would probably place an auction estimate around $3,000 to $5,000 for this piece.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's exciting.
We are presented with a small sword in a silver hilt. The guest's grandmother believed it to be a George Washington dress sword.
So I did a little bit of paperwork, a little research, and I believe this belonged to Josiah Pratt.
The sword originally belonged to Josiah Pratt, an ancestor of the guest and a militia officer.
He was born in 1719 in Stoughton, Massachusetts, which later became Foxborough, Massachusetts in 1778.
This German blade served as a badge of rank for militia officers during that time. While swords from this period share similar forms, this particular item stands out due to its unique pommel design. Despite missing the wire wrap, its ferrules indicate that it has Boston origins, and at auction, it holds a significant worth of.
On it, it would probably be in the $8,000 to $12,000 range at auction.
Wow.
The guest grew up in the same town as the legendary artist Dr. Seuss, an American author and cartoonist. In 1964, Dr. Seuss created this unique piece as a gift for the guest.
Of his life before he moved to California, and my grandmother knew him.
This signed drawing features a special animal, as designated by the artist, and includes a personalized inscription addressed to the guest. While inscriptions to specific individuals can sometimes decrease an item's value, this piece is an exception, and since it's on the artist's original stationery, It holds significant value of
Something like this would bring about $6,000 on the auction market.
Wow.
No, this is not a samurai sword. This presentation sword was actually used by Confederates during the American Civil War. The sword was crafted by Bissonnet, who at the time was one of the best at the craft. The sword was also made in Alabama, and the grip and sword are well crafted to show expertise. Any soldier holding this sword would automatically feel an aura of confidence. Even though it's a symbol of American Confederacy, it's a bit rusted. Nevertheless, since it was made by a respected figure like Bissonnet, this sword would auction at
This is a sword that I would insure for $30,000.
Seriously?
The Chinese are known to craft some of the best materials in the world, but this silk rug is so innovative, it appeals to almost everyone. The first distinct feature of this rug is not the fact that it is Chinese.
You say you've got a little bit of a history with rug making.
In my 20s, I was an amateur weaver and a rug maker.
But because of the beautiful mix of colors, which enhance its appeal. The rug, in contrast to many vintage rugs we see now, was woven in the 1980s. The rug patterns follow a Persian way of weaving rugs called a qum style.
Longer available. So other countries such as China started weaving rugs in Persian designs, something that up to that point really hadn't happened.
Perhaps that's why it looks like it was taken from the Aladdin movie. As it is a quality woven rug and it's handcrafted, it would auction today at
Well, in today's marketplace, I believe this rug would sell for $17,500 in the retail shop.
Okay.
All right, so thank you so much for bringing it in.
Even though they look like usual buttons, these buttons are a symbol of patriotism because they are military buttons. The first two buttons are artillery buttons which belong to soldiers in this division. These buttons, although identical, were not made by the same manufacturer. Another differing feature is that the buttons are divided into Civil War and post-Civil War. Another button featured here is the National Guard of Pennsylvania button. These buttons are rare due to the fact that they represent a big piece of American history.
Pre-war, it's for the state of Arkansas. The Northern Company that made it, Horseman and Aileen, they were located in New York. They manufactured buttons and shipped them south, which wasn't very highly looked upon.
Given their rarity and patriotic representation, these buttons will auction at
In a retail situation, that button would bring at least $5,000.
Really? Wow.
Our guest's father's wartime log from World War II is a significant memento of his time as a prisoner of war, holding entries, poems, drawings, and stories from his 18 months of captivity. The log was distributed by the Red Cross and the YMCA to prisoners, but most were confiscated by the Germans. Our guest's father was able to keep his by hiding it in a shelter he built in a latrine. The log begins with a POW form supplied by the Germans, including a snapshot of the guest's father with his prisoner number and other details like date of birth and next of kin. It also features a drawing of a B-17, a cartoon of the guest's father as a tail gunner, and
one that basically says, Sergeant Frank Urban has been mentioned in an enemy broadcast as a prisoner in Germany.
The log provides a glimpse into the harsh living conditions and challenges faced by prisoners of war at that time, highlighting the resilience and humor of the soldiers despite their circumstances. Despite the difficult memories associated with the war, the log serves as a priceless family heirloom and a historical artifact. It holds significant value to collectors of military memorabilia, estimated to be worth
At auction, this is somewhere in the $1,500 to $2,000 range as a memento of the service that he provided to the country.
The guest acquired this item from an acquaintance as part of an election collection, which includes a $35 value. This rare proclamation print is signed in 1864 by Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States and a renowned politician and lawyer. The print features a personal inscription that reads,
I think I have about $35 in it.
It says Abraham Lincoln signing the Emancipation Proclamation.
Given its connection to a former U.S. president, this item holds significant
Typical
value.
retail value
estimated to
for
be
this print would be $1,500.
Okay.